Today in Tracey's basement is the top 10 non-Funko Collectibles tag.
Oh my god, we were tagged in something that's not Funko related! Yeah!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the basement and welcome to the channel if you've never been here before. Today we are doing a top 10 non-Funko Collectibles tag.
We're finally getting a chance to show you guys more cool stuff!
Awesome. This tag was created by Nerd of the 80s, who does a lot of retro stuff as well as Funko stuff usually.
And we were tagged by King over at Chinese 5 Spice, who does unboxings, toy hauls, gaming videos, vlogs with his family. And we were also tagged at the last minute, just under the wire, by Dave, our good buddy Dave over at Everyday Geek. And he does toy hunts and hauls, unboxings, vlogs, podcasts, all kinds of things. And he does lots of videos with his daughter Lauren, and sometimes he does videos with the rest of his family as well. So go check both those guys out. Drop them a sub if you like their content. It's good now that we're going to get to see a lot of the stuff people collect that aren't Funko Pops.
Exactly.
Because so many of us just get drowned in Funko Pops that we can't catch up to show off more cool stuff. So it's got me really excited to show you guys some of our favorite things that we have kicking around down here.
It was an awesome idea for a tag. So for this top 10, Jason and I are going to do it together. We're not going to do separate top 10s. We're going to do a joint top 10 because when one of us gets into collecting something, it kind of becomes a group ordeal.
We pretty much absorb ourselves in whatever one of us gets interested in. Like, I've picked up most of Tracey's Pops for her, and she's picked up like a lot of horror stuff for me over the years and things like that, and we end up liking it together, and we get really involved, and we basically we turn it into like a team effort almost to
Exactly.
to acquire more of these things. So basically everything in the basement is stuff that we both joint love together. So we decided we would just grab things that we've had a blast collecting over the years.
So these are going to be our top 10 non-Funko collectibles, and they are in no particular order of, most awesome to least awesome or anything like that. Just 10 things that we think are amazing.
Yeah, and for the most part, just to keep it easy, because we have a lot of random stuff in this house, we decided for the most part, we went with things that were basically, pop culture related or geek related and stuff like that. Maybe a random other thing thrown in here, but for the most part, this is really geek and pop culture related stuff, collectible figure stuff, things like that. Just because we could do like a top 100 random crap in our house if you wanted.
So to start us off, I haven't actually collected any of these in a long time because it just.
Well, like anything, it just stopped.
Yeah,
they
it
just
kind of
disappear.
went by the wayside. But I used to be super into MCFARLANE dragons. I collected a ton of them. They are actually upstairs. I've never shown any of them on the channel before. So today I'm going to share my favorite one of the group that I have, and it is this one. And I love it because this is the badass mama dragon protecting her little baby dragon, as you can see. They're in a big nest with a broken egg there. And man, these have a ton of detail. They are so nicely done, so nicely painted.
Yeah, they're really cool things if you like dragons.
They're super awesome. I love dragons. I love dragons to death. This is one of my favorite ones. Tons of detail, tons of scales and spines and horns and hooks, and I just love the little baby dragon. It's so awesome. This dragon also happens to be from the first wave of dragons. They had all these different clans, and this particular one is from the Eternal Dragon clan, which actually has most of my favorites. I really liked the Eternal ones. And they had these stories that came with them in the packaging. just to make them that much more interesting and fun. I loved them so much.
Yeah, we used to get a lot of those at the flea market, of all places. There was a guy who used to go to the flea market and have tons of McFarlane figures, because that's what was really big in that day, was McFarlane stuff. Everybody, like all adult toy collectors, they wanted McFarlane stuff. That was McFarlane at its peak.
Yeah.
And he used to always have tons of McFarlane stuff, like horror stuff, things like that, and it was really cool. Like,
yeah, I picked up a ton of these there, and I would love to complete the collection at some point, but they're just not as easy to find nowadays.
No, and if you're lucky enough to find them, they probably go for stupid money,
exactly.
So there's no point. We don't pay stupid money for stuff.
So in the meantime, I will cherish the ones I have.
So the next thing we decided to go with, we went pretty broad and we said video games. Now, I wouldn't say we really collect video games, we buy a lot of video games and we just never get rid of them.
Exactly.
We're not trade-in people.
So for instance, I have my Super Nintendo upstairs with all of the games that I used to own, and this is one of my favorite ones, Final Fantasy III. It's kind of in crappy condition because we bought it used, but I've held on to it forever because even though I have different versions of the game on newer systems, I just have to hold on to this.
Yeah, and me and you, especially me, I'm a big fan of retro gaming, especially the hard games of old. And I'm also a real connoisseur of bad games, just like bad movies. I'm a real connoisseur of bad games. I don't know. I love collecting in an I love collecting in an ironic way. You know what I mean? I love terrible stuff. So this is one of my absolute favorite from the NES to have, and it's Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Box is a little beat up. It was in my grandmother's basement for years and years and years, but honestly, it's a NES game. I'm amazed to even have the box.
Exactly.
And it's complete with the instruction booklet and cartridge and everything, and Simon's Quest, man, Castlevania 2. When you were a kid with no internet, this game made no friggin' sense whatsoever. You had no idea what to do. All you did was wander around and whip stuff until it got dark, and then you wandered around and whipped stuff, wondering what the hell you were supposed to do. It took the internet for us to finally figure out what to do in this game. But it's not the best collectible we have for video games down in the basement, though. My absolute favorite treasure of our video game collection is the Virtual Boy. Now, you thought Nintendo did poor with the Wii U, but this is like Nintendo's ultimate fail right here. This is just the worst console thing they ever made, and I absolutely love that I have it.
It's great.
Like, you used to put it on your head. It had a stand, but the legs cracked, so we just duct taped it to our heads or leaned back on the couch like that. And half the people I knew who played it got headaches and migraines and stuff like that. But I had 2 games for it, which was like 20% of the entire games library for this system.
Didn't go too far.
Mario Tennis, which the depth on it just totally messed me up. And Tolero Boxer, which I actually really loved. That game was really fun. It was like Red and Black VR Punch-Out with robots.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, this is one of my favorite video game related items in the basement.
It's really a talking point.
Oh yeah, it's a classic in every not sense of the word.
And speaking of being connoisseurs of bad video games, we also happen to be connoisseurs of bad movies.
Oh,
specifically bad horror movies.
Oh, horror for sure. Like we like B movies in general, but horror, absolutely top of the hill right there. Like we love bad horror movies. especially the 80s.
Definitely.
Anything
80s was
80s.
An excellent era for bad horror movies.
Anything 80s we love.
So for a while back in the day, we were huge into collecting horror VHS tapes. We used to get them on like clear out when, you know, DVDs were big and nobody wanted tapes anymore. And particularly when video stores started going out of style, they started selling off all their old stuff.
Yeah, we used to go down, they used to have like basement clearouts of old tapes and stuff for like, you know, 50 cents, $1, things like that. And we used to just load up on, and they were cheap to collect too. And with this was stuff we used to collect when we were paying for college and things like that. And we still had that collector's bug, but you just can't afford to collect nice things when you're going to college. And you know, we loved horror. This was a way for us to scratch that itch.
Yep.
And I mean, we've got some gems too. You know what? I wish we were still collecting them, but like we got some gems. Like we got like slugs here, and we got Night Warning, and this one's a real gem, Frankenstein Island. This is where they show up on the island in a fully, perfectly functional inflatable raft, and then start gathering wood for them to build a raft to get off the island. So, it's not a well put together movie.
No. Very entertaining though.
I don't know. I think I fell asleep to that like 7 times before I finished it. But the best one we have though isn't a VHS, and I've showed this before on our Friday the 13th haul videos. This is the absolute gem of the horror movie collection.
For sure.
Yeah, it's my Friday the 13th Final Chapter CED, and I actually have the player to play this. Tracey got this for me for Christmas one year, and like I was like, I knew what a CED player was because my grandfather, before he passed away, he gave me one he had in his basement, and I had no idea what it was. And gave me a bunch of crappy movies to go with it, and a couple good movies too.
Yeah,
but the CED player is so bad it makes them crappy movies. But yeah, I opened this for Christmas and I just got super, super excited because anything Jason Voorhees in this house is just yee.
I was so excited when I was able to find this for Jason because, of course, Friday the 13th, he's all about Friday the 13th. And these are just so amusing because, like, they're the worst possible quality, but they're just so much fun to watch. Just the ridiculousness of having to stick it in the player and pull it out, and then you only get half of the movie, so you have to stick it in to grab it and flip it to get the rest of the movie. It's just fun in that real old school retro way.
Imagine, like, watching a movie, like listening to a record that's constantly on skip, like the needle's off. Exactly. That's basically what watching these is like.
They are basically movies on records.
Pretty much. So we just talked about video games, and we just talked about horror movies. So we may as well talk about stuff that is both video games and horror movies. I've been really hooked on the NECA 8-bit line of stuff lately. Yeah. The 8-bit repaints. Those are so cool. I have a few of them set aside for us to do videos on in the future, but I'm not going to show them now because we have plans for those. Yeah. But we did show the Jason Voorhees in our Friday the 13th haul, and it's probably my favorite of the line so far anyway. As you can see right there, that beautiful purple and blue. And one of the things that really is awesome about it is that when you open up the box, even though I take them out of the box, these are one of the few collectibles we actually keep the boxes for the display because, look at that, that's gorgeous.
Makes an excellent display piece.
Yeah. That's the NES cover right there. And when you open it, it plays the Friday the 13th video game music.
The most monotonous song of all time.
Oh man, that game was so bad, it's the best. If you haven't seen our video where we play it, go check that out because that game was just trash.
So we've already talked about how we collect horror movies, specifically a ton of VHS tapes and at least one CED. But we also have quite a decent collection of horror movie figures, different statues and collectibles and the like.
Yeah, we like anything to do with horror movies.
Tons of different characters from classic movies. Just really cool creepy stuff. But of all of the horror figures that we have, for a favorite, we're gonna have to go with this enormous Jason Voorhees.
This guy is really cool. We already talked about this. We're not going to go too much into him because we already talked about this guy in our Friday the 13th Part 3 haul thing that we did.
Yeah.
We did a series of Friday the 13th related stuff videos, and he was in Part 3. I think that was all NECA stuff.
Yep.
So if you want more details on him, go check that out in the video list. But yeah, this guy guards our candy bowl every Halloween. Like, he's just awesome.
He's awesome. He's huge and imposing and has tons of detail, and he's just wicked.
I think that's one of the main selling points of the horror collection, because we have a lot of smaller figures that are really awesome too. But I think just his sheer size compared to a lot of them just really sells him. He really stands out on the shelf, like a lot.
He towers over everybody else.
And like we said, we love anything Jason Voorhees.
Next one we're going to show is from Dragon Ball Z, which was an enormous show of our childhood, both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. We both watched it a ton as kids, and we still watch it now.
And we only recently started getting into Dragon Ball style collectibles, though. It's more of a recent thing with us over like the last year or so.
Yeah.
And we have future hauls planned to show you guys on this channel too. But, even out of the ones coming, we decided to go with Tracey's favorite, which we've shown on the channel already.
Piccolo from Figure Arts is definitely my favorite. We got lots more to show, but I've already showed this guy, and he's just my favorite. He has so much detail, and he has such a dynamic pose, and Piccolo is probably my favorite character in the show, so it's just a triple threat.
Vegeta's my boy. So.
Vegeta's pretty awesome too, I will say. I've always been a bit of a Piccolo person though.
But we've been totally hooked on these Figure Art Zero statues lately. We've been starting to get Master Stars pieces. We've got the Pops mixed in with them and stuff like that. But we've been absolutely hooked on these Figure Art Zero statues because they've got a pretty good price point, and the detail on them is absolutely phenomenal.
Exactly. They're very well done.
Yeah, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, I highly recommend you look into these style figures.
Absolutely.
So another thing that we're really into collecting, more on the side moderately, it's something I got into mostly like going around like yard sales or flea markets and stuff like that back in the day, but I got really into like random liquor glasses with logos on them, mostly beer logos and stuff like that. And more recently, we've just started picking up, this is more of a new hobby, but we've started picking up, random shot glasses with pop culture characters on them. Really liking Godzilla there.
Really liking Godzilla.
But we used to collect, kind of fancy old liquor bottles and things like that. Originally, we had the intention to put a bar down here.
Yeah.
But things just didn't work out. The layout of the room just didn't work well for it. And I still wanted to show off one of the ones I kept because this was just too awesome. And I watched Chinese Five Spices video before he tagged us, and I wanted to kick him. Because he ended up putting this in the video, and when we found out it was a non-Funko video, I really wanted to show this, and then he showed it. But I'm going to show it anyway, so screw you, Chinese Five Spice! It's the Crystal Head vodka bottle. And this one actually still has some vodka in it, because I have a couple of them.
This is one of the coolest bottle designs I have ever seen. The pack that I got Jason one year at Christmas was actually, it included two little shot glasses that are the same shape.
Yeah, the shot glasses were like little skulls. But they were the worst things to drink out of. They didn't hold the liquor at all. They were like, you try to take a shot of them, you're like, ugh.
But they look nice sitting next to this.
Yeah, they were really cool.
And yeah, this is just such an awesome bottle. Like, you can't get rid of this once you have one.
No, and I'm not a big vodka drinker, but I used to say I didn't like vodka, and then I realized I only drank cheap vodka, because this is a little bit of a pricey vodka. It's a little on the pricey end, but if you are a liquor, drinker, you like the taste, you like to try different liquors, stuff like that, that is a good vodka.
It actually really is. And I'm not a vodka person either, but this is smooth.
Yeah. Isn't it like a Newfoundland vodka or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, cool anyway.
The next one will probably come as no surprise to you guys because I've actually showed it in 2 videos already. You guys know I love Sailor Moon. I love these Girl of Memories figures, and this is my favorite one because I love Sailor Mercury. It is just so cute. They are very well done for the price of them, and I just love this character to death. So this goes way up there with one of my favorite figures in the basement that's not Funko.
Yeah, they are pretty well designed figures.
They really capture the characters. I love the little poses. They have great paint jobs, so I really, really like these a lot, and she's one of my favorite things. I'm trying to find a really, really good spot for her, especially now that I have the Funko Pops as well. I want a really nice display with her very close to the front.
I'm always building shelves down here.
Yeah.
It never stops.
So we've already talked about video games. We also have a lot of video game figures.
Yeah, we have a lot of video game related collectibles.
Different characters from different series that we grew up with, that we've played more recently.
Yeah, everybody's got their, common characters, like your Street Fighters and, your Halo, your Assassin's Creed guys. Like, those guys are everywhere.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so this guy, I haven't opened him yet. I do intend on opening him. This is Tracey's basement. Things don't stay in the package in Tracey's basement. But Tracey found this guy for me, gave him to me for Christmas, and I'm pretty excited for this guy. I grew up on this guy.
Man.
This is amazing. Like an Earthworm Jim action figure. It's by Mezco. And it just brings me right back, because I played the first. That was a
huge game.
Oh yeah, I played the first 2 steady, and I loved the 90s cartoon. Do you remember the 90s cartoon?
90s cartoon was amazing.
Yeah, like Homer Simpson did the voice of him. Like,
loved it.
Oh man, Earthworm Jim, he's such a groovy guy. Earthworm Jim, he rockets to the sky. Like, I just love this figure.
But of all the video game figures and memorabilia that we have, this is my favorite. Big ol' Marcus Phoenix came with the Gears of War 3 Collector's Edition. So cool, so awesome, so much detail. I love it so much. And Gears of War was one of my favorite series, especially to actually play with Jason.
Yeah, she actually multiplayed a game with me.
Damn right I did.
And she did pretty good at it too.
It was so much fun that you could really get into it, and I just enjoyed it so much that I was really willing to give it my all and learn how to play the game.
That's just an awesome pose too, with him kneeling over the Lancer.
I love it. The Lancer is kind of loose there, and it's just, there's so much detail, and he's such an awesome character. You've got the Gears symbol there on the side. This is just such an amazing statue. I love it.
You remember how excited you got when we watched the Gears of War 4 footage in the Xbox conference at E3 this year, and Old Man Marcus showed up?
Yeah.
You were like, yeah!
I love him.
It's so Marcus!
He's a great character. Brothers to the end. Last but not least, something that we don't really collect a lot of, but we do have a few of them, and they're awesome, so we decided to share our favorites each. They are KOTOBUKIYA statues, and mine I've actually showed on the channel before. It is the X-Force Deadpool. So cool. Such an awesome pose. They are so well painted, and just, I love them. I love even the stand that they come with to help them stand up. So much detail, and the molds are great, the poses are great, all the little, he's got his swords, he's got extra hands that you can put on him.
Yeah, he's a really great figure.
They're so cool.
Excellent Deadpool figure. But my favorite is bigger than yours. My favorite is Deathstroke.
He is enormous.
He is amazing. Tracey got this for me for Christmas one year, and oh man, this is just an amazing figure right here. Him and his giant sword. He's got the stand there, says Deathstroke across it for help him stand up. his mask actually comes off and his sword can come apart. And you can... Oops. And you can see Slade Wilson's face in there. And the amount of detail is just crazy. Like, like, he looks right out of the comics. All the mesh and everything.
Love the texture.
The texture of it's amazing. All the big armor and everything. It's just an amazing statue. KOTOBUKIYA does amazing statues. They're a little pricey.
Yes.
So they're not something that we're really looking to collect a lot of. Or, gotta get them all, right?
Well, we pick them up here and there when we find one that's just amazing.
One that we really, really, really like. And this is by far my favorite of the ones we have, and it's one of the nicest ones I've seen in general of the KOTOBUKIYA statues. It's just awesome.
So those were our top 10 collectibles that are not Funko. Now we have to tag a few people to do this video along with us. We're going to start out with 101 Jenko.
Or Genko. How do you pronounce your last name, Zach? I don't know. Is it Genko or Jenko? Anyway, you're a really nice guy.
We're going to tag iSpy0099.
Who, he comments on a lot of your videos.
He does.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, too.
We're going to tag My Mind's Emporium.
Really cool Funko collectors. So it'd be nice to see more stuff they collect that aren't Pops.
We're going to tag Cube Jam.
Who, he collects a lot of Pops, too. But he's into, like, Formula 1 racing and stuff like that, too. So I'm sure he's got some pretty cool things to show us.
And we're going to tag Unboxing Rocks.
Hey, come on. Jay and Nikki collect, like, tons of stuff. They have to have tons of non-Funko stuff to show us. So.
Definitely. So those were our top 10. What did you guys think? What was your favorite item amongst the stuff that we shared today? Did you learn anything about us as collectors? And of course, share with us what are some of your favorite non-Funko things. We would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a big thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook at Tracey's Basement. Links in the description box below. And of course, as always, keep coming back for more Tracey's Basement. Bye! And this is the part where you guys can give me some love if you liked the video and you want to watch some more. Here are some of the more recent ones, and if you enjoyed the channel, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe right below, please keep coming back for more videos. Bye!